morning. I am Dr. Jyoti Victoria. I teach here biological sciences to the student trainees at St. Anne's College of Education. And today when we talk about biology, we can talk about plants and animals. Plants, of course, very beautiful creation of God. To know about these plants, let us know more about the plants, how they are made up, and what are the important functions of the plants, and what are the cells and the tissues and different parts of the plants, how they are going to help us to welfare of the human beings. Coming to the importance of why we are supposed to know about biological sciences. Of course, biological sciences is nothing but it is the environment where we are living. The environment includes living organisms, which includes plants, animals, what not, everywhere you can see biology. Just imagine, without biology can we survive in this world? The air we breathe and all the luxuries, what all the things we are able to enjoy here, and almost all your physiological systems are functioning just because of your beautiful subject, that is biological sciences. And today we are going to appreciate this subject by knowing more about a beautiful creation, that is plant world. So today we are going to learn more about the plants and how they are going to contribute for our welfare, and what are the important functions of the plants, how they are going to help for our lovely life. We have seen in the last classes that the cells in groups with a similar structure and with a similar function are called tissues. Structures with a similar structure, cells with a similar structure and the similar function are called tissues. And today let us learn more about such tissues, how these plants have been getting benefited by different kinds of tissues, and these tissues, there are 4 kinds of tissues which helps the plant body in 4 different ways. One is growth, another one is repair, another one is there are different important functions like absorption of soil from the water, exchange of gases, the third important function is transpiration, the fourth is photosynthesis, and the fifth one is reproduction. So, with this you can you can analyze that how these plants are able to help themselves to provide help to the living kind. Today let us know more about such tissues which help in growth, repair, and most important functions of the plant body. When you look into the tissues of plant body, there are 4 basic types. The first one is dermal tissue, the second one is meristematic tissue, the third one is vascular tissue, and the fourth one is ground tissue. So, today we are going to see how these 4 basic types of tissues are going to help a plant body in performing different functions. As I told you, there are different functions of plant body where these tissues are performing various functions in order to contribute to the growth of the plant. What are the different functions we can observe in a plant body? Number 1, absorption of water from the soil. Number 2, you can see it is nothing but photosynthesis. Number 3, transpiration. Number 4, exchange of gases, and the fifth one is reproduction. So, here let us observe what are the different tissues are helping the plant to perform all these set functions. When we come to the first important function of the plant body, that is absorption of water from the soil. Definitely there will be one tissue which helps a plant to absorb water from the soil. So, what is that great tissue? It is helping a plant in order to perform this transportation function. As we have seen, there are 4 important tissues in a plant body. When you see this dicot stem section, you can see that these 4 important sections, tissues being arranged in a very specific manner. The first tissue called dermal tissue, which is been arranged around the plant body, and here this dermal tissue function is to protect the plant body, and this particular dermal tissue, it is also going to support the complete plant body. So, dermal tissue forms the outer covering of the plant body.
Try and solve this simple riddle. A nest box is placed 5 feet above the ground on a tree trunk. If the tree grows 1 foot every year, then what will be the height of this nest box above ground level after 5 years? Yes, the nest box will remain at the same height even when the tree is growing taller. This is because this tree will grow only at the top. Plants grow only at specific points. Plants can grow at the tips of their stems or branches, the tips of their roots, or they can increase in girth or thickness. These regions in plants have special cells that have the ability of dividing actively to form new cells. These specialized plant cells form the meristematic tissue. Bonsai is the Japanese art of growing dwarf plants. The plants are deliberately pruned at the growing regions to maintain their stunted stature. The word meristem is derived from the ancient Greek word meristos, meaning divisible. As the name suggests, these tissues retain the ability to divide throughout their life. The new cells formed by these tissues differentiate into permanent plant tissues that form different plant parts. Dermal tissue forms the outer lining. Ground tissue forms the bulk for storage and support, and vascular tissue helps in transport. Since the cells of meristematic tissue are actively dividing, they are characterized by small size with less intercellular space, thin walls, the presence of large and prominent nuclei, dense granular cytoplasm, absence of a vacuole. Based on their location, meristematic tissues can be divided into 3 categories: apical meristems, intercalary meristems, lateral meristems. Based on its origin, a meristem can be a primary meristem that appears early in a plant's life, or a secondary meristem that appears later.
Now, coming to the second tissue, that is meristematic tissue. Meristematic tissue, it is just below the dermal tissue, and this meristematic tissue will help in repair and growth of the plant body. Then the third important tissue you can see is vascular tissue. Vascular tissues, of course, as I told you, they help in transportation of material in the plant body. The fourth important tissue is ground tissue, the ground tissue will form the bulk of the plant body. It will form the bulk of the plant body. And here you can see this ground tissue, it is not only going to form the bulk of the plant body, but also this particular ground tissue will help in packing of other important tissues. So, you can observe that all the 4 important tissues being arranged in a very specific manner, to perform the various functions.
A group of cells sharing a common origin and function is known as tissue. Plant tissues are divided into meristematic tissues and permanent tissues based on their ability to divide. In plants, the tissues composed of cells that are actively dividing throughout their life are called meristematic tissues. The term meristem is derived from a Greek word, meristos, meaning divisible. Based on their occurrence, meristems are of 2 types: the primary meristem, which occurs early, and the secondary meristem, which occurs late in the life of a plant. The primary meristem that occurs at the tip of the root and the one at the tip of the shoot are called the apical meristems. Some cells of the shoot apical meristem form the axillary bud, which grows to form the branches of the stem. The meristems occurring between non-dividing, mature tissues, such as at the base of the leaves, nodes and internodes, are called intercalary meristems. Intercalary meristems help in the elongation of internodes in monocots, such as in grasses. Secondary or lateral meristems appear late in the life of a plant. They are located on the sides of the plant and are responsible for increasing the girth or diameter of the stem or root. Secondary meristems can be seen as vascular cambium and cork cambium, which forms growth rings around the stem.
Today, we are going to see the first important function of the plant, that is nothing but how this absorption will takes place. If you observe this plant body, you can see that the water being absorbed from the soil away from the roots to the other portions of the plant body. The water is being absorbed from the soil away from the roots to the upward different parts of the plant body. And here you can also see there are the green portions of the plants like leaves, tender stems, they are green portions of the plant, and we can also call these green portions as photosynthetic parts of the plants. These photosynthetic parts of the plants, again what they are going to do? There is a function for these photosynthetic parts of the plants. They prepare food material and they will send it to the different parts of the body. Students, just concentrate. Here I have used 2 important common words. One, I said that the water is being supplied from the soil to the upward portions of the plant. And again I said that the upward green portions of the plant, again they prepare a food material, and this particular material is being supplied to the different portions of the plant. In both the functions, one common term I have used, that is supply, transportation, conduction, etc. So, what is the tissue? It is going to help to supply water from the away from the roots and food material away from the photosynthetic parts of the plant. It is nothing but a vascular tissue. So today, before going to the details of the vascular tissue, I request all of you to go through a textbook, a page number 19 to 21, read it very silently and note down all the keywords which are there in the right from a 19th page to 21 page. Yes students, when you have gone through page number 19 to 21, you might have note down all the key words or a very important words throughout the 2 pages, like a vascular tissue which is being divided into xylem and phloem. As I told you, the vascular tissue consists of 2 types of cell, one is xylem, another one is phloem. Here the xylem and the phloem together we are going to call them as vascular bundles. Now we are going to see in the next experiment, in the next activity, how this xylem bundle looks. Here when you observe this mind map or a concept map, you can see that the xylem tissues being divided or made up of different types of cells. One is tracheate cells, the other one is tubular cells, fibers and parenchyma. Now coming to the phloem cells, it also consists of sieve cells, sieve tubes, companion cells, fibers and parenchyma. Now, as I told you, both xylem and the phloem together they form vascular bundles. If you observe the next slide of transverse section of as I told you, the cells of vascular tissue, that is xylem and the phloem, together we are going to call them as vascular bundles. If you observe this TS of dicot stem, the vascular bundles are being arranged in a very circular manner. So you can observe the vascular bundles, all these are the vascular bundles which consist of xylem and phloem. So to see the structure, better we conduct one experiment. In 7th class, when you are learning plant nutrition, we have conducted one experiment, that is nothing but again keeping a plant with the roots in a colored solution and how this food material or the conduction of water being transmuted into the different parts of the plant, we can observe that. This particular vascular tissue, as I told you, it is being made up of different types of cells. When you observe the cells of xylem, the xylem is made up of tubular vessels, tracheate cells, fibers and parenchyma. You can also observe the cells of phloem, they are made up of companion cells, sieve cells, sieve plates and tracheate cells, fiber and parenchyma. Both phloem and xylem are meant for transportation of material. So the difference is xylem helps in the conduction of water, whereas phloem helps in the transportation of food material. So today let us conduct one experiment where we will see the function of a xylem, how it is being conducting, why it is being called as conducting tissue. So in order to see a xylem cells in a particular transverse section, I kept the plant in a water where I have colored the water 2 hours before only. Now we are going for a section cutting of the same material and I will see some of the cells of the tissue being changed into red color. Why other cells are not changed into red color? As I told you, only xylem cells will conduct the water in upward direction. Because of the particular reason, you can see that only xylem cells will be turning into red color, where the cells surrounding the xylem are colorless. So now we will go for an experiment, and this, in order to perform this experiment, what is that important material we require to do this section cutting.
In the center of the plant, complex permanent tissues are present as the vascular tissues made of xylem and phloem. Xylem transports water and minerals, while phloem transports food. Xylem consists of 4 types of cells: tracheates, vessels, xylem fibers, and xylem parenchyma. Xylem tracheids are elongated dead cells with tapering ends. The cell walls have thickening in different patterns with pits that facilitate the transport of materials. Xylem vessels have short cells with their end walls forming a continuous canal for the movement of water. Xylem fibers are elongated, dead sclerenchyma cells associated with xylem tissue, mainly for providing mechanical strength. Xylem parenchyma contains the only living cells in the xylem tissue, meant for storage and sideways conduction of water. Phloem is also made up of 4 types of cell. These are sieve tubes, companion cells, phloem fibers, and phloem parenchyma. Primary xylem is of 2 types: protoxylem, formed first, and metaxylem, formed later in plants. In stems, the primary xylem is end-arc, which has protoxylem towards the center and metaxylem towards the periphery, while in roots, the arrangement is reversed, and this is called exarch. Sieve tubes are elongated tubes with perforations called sieve plates in their end walls. Companion cells, as the name suggests, are the neighboring cells associated with sieve tubes. Phloem fibers are sclerenchyma tissue meant for mechanical support, and phloem parenchyma for help in food storage. The first formed primary phloem consists of narrow sieve tubes and is called protophloem, and the phloem formed later has bigger sieve tubes and is called metaphloem.
Students, all of you now divide into the 4 groups, and now we will enjoy the experiment and we will see how this xylem tissue is going to help in the conduction of the water. Among the 4 groups, 2 of you please observe the permanent slide which been exposed in the microscope, and 2 groups go to the section cutting table, and there you see that go for a thin section cuttings, and in order to prepare the slide you are supposed to follow these steps. What are the steps you are supposed to go? You please observe here, take a thin sections of a specimen, place it on a slide, put a drop of water on it, put a drop of glycerin, gently cover it with a cover slip, observe it under the microscope. So, follow these steps. 2 groups follow these steps, another 2 groups please observe the transverse section of dicot stem, that is a permanent slide which has been exposed in the microscope. Now, once you prepare your slides, compare your slides with the diagram which I have shown you, where how this vascular bundle is been arranged and what are the cells which have been turned into red color, and note down all the important changes in the structure and draw a rough structure and describe the diagram. Shall I show you how to prepare a slide? Cutting. For the slide preparation you require material, thin sections of the material, and you require a glycerin, very sharp, and a new blade, and then a slide, a cover slip. Then you can prepare a very good slide. As I told you, you are supposed to take a thin section of the stem. I hope you are very good in cutting, because you may be helping your mother in cutting vegetables. So, make a very thin sections. Yeah. Now, you transfer the section into a watch glass having a water. Take thin sections of the stem and transfer these thin sections onto a petri dish containing a water, and now transfer the thin section onto the slide. Then put a drop of a glycerin, only drop, you are not supposed to pour. So, after transferring the thin material onto the slide, now put the drop of glycerin over it and now, as I told you, gently cover it with a cover slip and slightly tap it so that no air bubble will remain. Now, the temporary slide of stem cutting is ready, and observe same way you repeat the procedure and prepare a slide of TS of stem. After you prepare a temporary slide, now you observe under the microscope and you will observe that few cells being turned into red color. And as I told you, only the cells which are helpful in conduction of water are xylem cells. And you know, we can appreciate the role of this vascular tissue, especially xylem. It can conduct the water even to a greater heights. In the eucalyptus plant, you can see that more than 200 feet it will conduct the water, and in red sandalwood tree it can conduct the water to the height of 300 feet. So, now once you finish your job, you compare your slides with the figure which been given and write down the details and note down the cells which been. So, compare your slides diagrams with the permanent slides and note down all the details. Now, in conclusion, I can just say that this particular vascular tissue is helping us in conduction of water from the soil, and also phloem tissues are helping us in the conduction of the substance from the photosynthetic parts of the plant. Thus, we can appreciate the role of tissues in the plant body, where the dermal tissue, meristematic tissue and vascular tissue and ground tissue, all these 4 basic types of tissues are being arranged in a very specific manner in a plant body, and they are performing different functions.